Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest stories and we'll be filling in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi leaves for a 7-day big-ticket foreign trip to Ireland and America. All eyes on action-packed US leg of the trip. Nitish Kumar announces of 242 Grand Alliance candidates for the 5-phase Bihar elections that start on the 12th of October. Hardik Patel's whereabouts traced to Saurashtra a day after his lawyer alleged that he was detained illegally by the police. And European Union overcomes opposition with majority vote on plan to relocate 120,000 migrants. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today started his much-awaited visit to Ireland and the United States. He is expected to lay new benchmarks for India's engagement with America. The primary focus will be on getting more foreign direct investment and impart a positive forward thrust to the Make in India campaign.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi leaving for a 7-day tour of Ireland and America. All eyes will of course be on the US leg of his visit that's expected to lay new benchmarks for India and the US. During the visit, Modi will meet a number of people from financial, technology and manufacturing sectors.
One of the primary objectives of the Prime Minister's visit to America is to get more foreign direct investment and make the Make in India program a huge success. American collaboration with that program in terms of skills, in terms of technology and in terms of investment is very, very crucial.
Modi will reach New York on Wednesday, where he will address the 70th session of Annual United Nations General Assembly Summit on Friday. The next 2 days are reserved for his trip to the West Coast, which is the home of startups, innovation and technology. Modi will be the first Indian Prime Minister to visit West Coast in 33 years. On the 28th, Modi will also call on US President Barack Obama. It will be their third meeting in a year. Modi is also expected to visit Silicon Valley, home to technology giants like Google, Facebook and Apple. He will invite them to invest in India. Modi will also interact with the Indian community on the day, an event that is being built on a scale that no less than what Modi addressed at the Madison Square Garden last year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today reached Ireland for a day-long visit. On the agenda were talks with his Irish counterpart, Enda Kenny, in Dublin, and a working luncheon hosted by Kenny. The focus of the visit was on improving trade relations and on the Indian diaspora. Modi took to Twitter to say he looks forward to have a strong economic relationship with Ireland. After high-level meetings, Modi will also interact with the Indian community at a special event in Dublin. Modi is the second Indian Prime Minister to visit Ireland after Jawaharlal Nehru, who visited the country in 1956. Now on to the Bihar elections, and after dragging its feet for several days, the Grand Alliance finally announced its list of candidates for the Bihar polls. In a show of unity, the leader of the alliance, Nitish Kumar, announced a list of 242 candidates for the elections. He was flanked by RJD Bihar President Ramchand Purve and Congress State Chief, Ashok Chaudhary.
The Grand Alliance, comprising of the Janata Dal United, Rashtriya Janata Dal and the Congress, announced its list of 242 candidates for the 5-phase Bihar Assembly elections. The candidate for Rajgir, which will be contested by the JDU, is yet to be announced. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar announced the list in Patna on the last day of nomination for the first phase of elections on October 12th. He claimed that all is well within the Mahagathbandhan, unlike its rivals, where massive rebellion marred ticket distribution.
महागठबंधन के उम्मीदवार के तौर पर जो घटक दल के प्रत्याशी हैं उन सबों की एक समेकित सूची आज जारी की जा रही है.
The social engineering that the Grand Alliance aims to achieve was reflected in the list. 16% of seats have been given to upper castes, 55% to backward classes, 16% to scheduled castes and tribes, and 14% to Muslims. While announcing the candidates list, Nitish also chose to launch yet another round of attacks on the BJP and its ideological mentor, the RSS.
में जो बातें उन्होंने कही है उससे यह साफ प्रकट होता है कि वे आरक्षण की वर्तमान प्रणाली को ठीक नहीं मानते। वो चाहते हैं कि कुछ लोग की कमेटी बन जाए और वो कमेटी इन चीजों पर विचार करे कि किन वर्गों को आरक्षण मिलना चाहिए और कितने दिन तक आरक्षण मिलना चाहिए।
Nitish Kumar claimed that the list of 242 candidates was prepared after long deliberations with alliance partners who had authorized the names jointly. The candidate for one more seat will be announced in a day or two. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Now let's go across to our correspondent Vishal Dhaya, who's been tracking all these developments in Bihar. Vishal, thanks very much for coming in. Very quickly first, finally the list is out, 242 candidates of the Grand Alliance. How do things look? Because in the run-up, there had been a couple of hiccups for this alliance.
Well, yes, finally, you're right. All these three alliance partners have come to a conclusion as to who will contest which seat. And those, rumors of candidates getting party symbol from JDU, some of them getting from RJD, and the Congress, not able to finalize its own list of candidates who will be contesting those 41 seats which have been allotted to it by the alliance. All of them have now, come to a halt. The list of candidates which has been released today in that press conference by the JDU's chief ministerial nominee Nitish Kumar is a clear indication that the alliance has given a lot of focus, or rather the alliance has focused more on the OBC, and this is something which the alliance has not is not shying away from putting it across, because in the list which was put on the internet as well and which was distributed to the journalists, the first page itself gives a breakup of what exactly is the percentage of SC, STs, general, OBC and Muslim candidates and women candidates in that particular list. So that is one aspect of it. Second aspect is that the Congress, which was in principle in the initial stages in this alliance, was in principle promised that at least they will get at least one seat in all 38 districts in Bihar. That is something which is not materialized in the final list. There are at least 10 districts from which the Congress, no Congress nominee will be contesting these elections. And that is something which I was pointing out yesterday as well, after a dialogue with some Congress leaders and workers in right. Those areas. They're not happy about it, because some of those areas are those which were in which the Congress has performed slightly better than, comparatively better than the other areas.
All right.
And there were the workers and local leaders believe that there were much better chances of Congress winning in those seats.
Yes, and Vishal, that I believe it's leading to a lot of murmurs of rebellion as well. And in fact, I'll just ask you to hold on, because we want to play that story out for you that you also got us. Because amid the flurry of candidates lists by all parties, there is a lot of dissent among those seeking a chance to contest the polls. Some have even jumped ship to join other parties. Almost all the parties are facing protests over ticket distribution.
These protests have now become a common feature at almost every party office in Patna. There is growing dissent among poll aspirants who have been denied tickets to contest in the forthcoming assembly polls. While hundreds line up for a ticket, not everyone is lucky. Some of them decided to quit party, expressing disappointment for not making it to the list of candidates. While BJP has denied tickets to 16 MLAs, JDU has foregone its claim on more than 25 seats. JDU's Daud Ali, who represents Dumrao seat, has decided to contest from Papu Yadav's Jan Adhikar Manch. On Tuesday, former Minister Chandramohan Rai decided to quit BJP over party's decision to deny him ticket. But all the parties have put up a brave face despite the rebellion.
जेडीयू कांग्रेस में कोई सीटों को लेकर कोई विवाद नहीं है। सीट चिन्हित करके अलग हो चुके कैंडिडेट तय हो गए। एक रणनीति के तहत हमने तय किया था कि बीजेपी की सूची के बाद हम लोग घोषणा करेंगे। कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं है। आपको महागठबंधन के किसी भी नेता के किसी भी बयान से ऐसा लगा जो सीट शेयरिंग में है?
असंतुष्ट जैसी कोई बात नहीं है, क्योंकि जब बड़ा गठबंधन होता है, इतनी सीटें होती हैं, तो हर पक्ष का कुछ अपना विचार होता है और उसमें कई बार सामंजस्य बनाने में कुछ देर लगती है।
जो सीटों का बंटवारा हो गया वो हो गया, अब फिर इसमें कोई ये नहीं होना चाहिए, फाइनल हो गया, फिनिश्ड।
Some of the rebels have joined rivals to get a chance to contest the elections. It remains to be seen if they could spoil the chances of the bigger alliances. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And let's go back to Vishal Dheya because he's been tracking all these developments as far as dissent is concerned. That is a major worry for the parties, and that is why ticket distribution was delayed to such a large extent, Vishal. And still a lot of protests going on, so the rebel candidates could prove to be valuable on either side.
Well, yes, in fact, it's not only the party offices, Ishan, as was mentioned in the report there you saw. It is also the residences of all party leaders. Just a short while back, we were at the Chief Minister's residence and, his alliance partner, Lalu Prasad Yadav. There were also a number of, supporters of those ticket aspirants who were denied the candidature by these parties. They were shouting slogans at those places. Even, smaller parties in the other camps, such as Jitan Ram Manjhi's Hindustani Awam Morcha, those parties are also facing the issue of rebellion. There, the problem might be limited to their own close, or rather, close lieutenants or maybe family members. We've seen close family members of some of the senior leaders out here speaking out in open after being denied ticket. In Ramvilas Paswan's case, it was his son-in-law. In Jitan Ram Manjhi's case, also it was his son-in-law. And in other cases also, we've seen the report pointed out Mr. Rai, the former health minister from BJP. But interesting point is that rebels are finding place in the opposition camp. For example, those sitting MLAs from JDU who were denied ticket, some of them have finally managed to get a ticket from BJP. And some of them from BJP who were denied ticket by the party have managed to get ticket from either JDU or RJD. And those who have not managed to, get benefit of this exchange phenomena, they have found refuge in the third front, which is being led by Samajwadi Party and which also has Pappu Yadav's Janadhikar Party and 2-3 other smaller parties. So it's a free for all as of now, as far as tickets are concerned, as far as candidature is concerned, and specifically smaller parties and newer alliances like the Third Front, which does not have a very strong footprint in certain parts of the state, are finding it easier to try and lure those who have been denied tickets by their party, and they believe that they can play some sort of spoil sort game for specifically the candidates of these two alliances.
All right, Vishal Dheya keeping a track of all those developments as they happen in Patna for us. Thanks very much for coming in, Vishal, and sharing your perspective on the big stories of the day from Bihar. Well, that was our special on the elections in Bihar, Verdict 2015. We'll be back every day with, of course, special coverage of the elections. Moving on now, Kota agitation leader Hardik Patel has been traced after he went missing yesterday. Now, as per reports, he is in the Halwar district. However, Hardik claims that he's been abducted by people with weapons. Here's the report.
Hardik Patel, the leader of the Patel community's Kota agitation, has been traced after he reportedly went missing since Tuesday. According to reports, he communicated an SMS to his lawyer that he is in Halwar district of Saurashtra region to meet young leaders. The whole drama began Tuesday when the Gujarat High Court issued an order on Tuesday night after Hardik's lawyer alleged that his client had been detained illegally by the police. The court asked the state government to find him and produce him before the court on Thursday, but the police said that he had given them a slip when they tried to detain him.
जब ये लोग सभा पूरी करके निकल रहे थे, तब उनके व्हीकल को हमने रोका। 3 व्हीकल पकड़े गए, लेकिन 2 व्हीकल वहां से टर्न होके चले गए। 3 व्हीकल में कुल मिलाकर 12 लोग पकड़े गए। उनके कहने के मुताबिक कि जो 2 व्हीकल चले गए, जिसमें चौथा व्हीकल था, उसके अंदर पटेल था, वो वहां से भाग गया।
The Gujarat police has also started crackdown on Hardik's key aides. The police booked Hardik's close aide Nilesh Patel under sedition charges for allegedly inciting public and making remarks against State Chief Minister Anandiben Patel, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP President Amit Shah. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for us to take a very quick break, but coming up on the other side, automobile giant Volkswagen faces multiple probe in the United States over rigging emission tests. And airstrike in Yemen targeting Houthi rebels leaves at least 20 dead. More on that on the other side.
Political slugfest intensifies in Bihar. Regional leaders fight a do-or-die battle. Who wins Bihar and who loses relevance? Watch Verdict 2015 on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, the prosecution demanded a death sentence for 8 convicts in the 2006 Mumbai serial train blast case. It has sought life sentence for others. All 12 convicts had earlier requested that the trial court not to award them the death sentence on humanitarian grounds. The court is likely to announce punishment for the convicts on the 30th of September. 188 people were killed and many were injured in a series of bomb blasts in Mumbai's suburban trains on the 11th of July 2006. Let's now get you some more national news and updates nationwide. An unclaimed bag reportedly carrying explosives was found at the Howrah railway station in Kolkata. The packet was examined by the bomb disposal squad after cordoning off a corner of the platform. Movement of local and long-distance trains on different platforms remained unaffected. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha today urged Prime Minister Narendra Modi to find a suitable mechanism to resolve the fishing dispute with Sri Lanka. This followed the arrest of 15 fishermen by the Sri Lankan Navy 2 days ago. In a letter to the Prime Minister, Jayalalitha called for restoration of fishing rights of Tamil fishermen and demanded steps to secure their release. A young army officer was killed in a freak accident during training at the Pokhran range in Rajasthan last night. Major Dhruv Yadav was struck by a splinter during the firepower demonstration involving Arjun tanks of the Army's 75th Armoured Regiment. The Army has launched a full inquiry into it. Time for some international news now. And overriding the opposition, the European Union is on the verge of approving a plan to relocate 120,000 migrants across the continent. Besides the relocation, the European Union is also expected to finalize plans to tighten borders and increase aid to neighboring Syria.
The European Union is all set to approve its migrant quota allocation plan. Notwithstanding a majority vote by European foreign ministers on Tuesday, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Romania and Hungary put up vehement resistance. Finland abstained from the vote. European nations will share 120,000 refugees across 28 states. Late on Wednesday night, members will decide on tighter border controls and boosting aid to neighbors of Syria.
In and by itself, the decision we took today is not going to solve the refugee crisis. But without this decision, I think we would not have been in a possibility to now take the next steps to make sure that we do better at protecting our external borders, that we do better at registering people immediately when they arrive.
The UK opted out from the relocation scheme, claiming that they have their own plans to resettle migrants directly from Syrian refugee camps. Both France and UK feel a solution to the Syrian conflict is key to resolving the crisis.
We have announced that we will be taking more refugees direct from the Syrian refugee camps. We will be resettling those people in the UK over the next few years.
However, there is no respite in sight as migrants continue to pour in from war-torn Middle Eastern countries.
Actually, the most support I've seen is in Greece and here in Austria. The most support, especially from the Red Cross and the groups that are supporting us here.
Nearly 1,200 migrants reached Croatian borders on Tuesday, immediately resuming their journey into Hungary by foot. Hungary promptly shut its borders and deployed more troops. All hopes of migrants now rest on the Wednesday meeting to resolve the escalating crisis. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
A German auto giant Volkswagen is facing multiple probes in the United States for allegedly rigging its diesel car emissions tests. The revelation led to a massive plunge in its stocks that hit the European markets on Tuesday. The senior directors of the company will be meeting in Wolfsburg today to decide the future course of action.
Senior directors of German carmaker Volkswagen will decide the next course of action after the company was caught manipulating its diesel car emission tests. It's facing multiple probes in the US which could result in huge financial damage. This comes after Volkswagen admitted it deceived US regulators in exhaust emission tests. A US-based law firm has filed a class action lawsuit alleging fraud, deception and misrepresentation.
The allegation will be that the consumer has been harmed for the full purchase price plus the consequential damages associated with that. Whether it's diminution in value, could be the entire purchase price. The impact here is just, massive.
Volkswagen's stocks plunged by nearly 20% as a result of the revelation. The US Environmental Protection Agency said that the company could face penalties of up to $18 billion for cheating emission tests. Meanwhile, Volkswagen chief executive Martin Winterkorn is facing an uncertain future. Despite his apology for rigging emission tests, he could face expulsion when the directors meet in Wolfsburg. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Let's now take a look at all the other international news stories in Global Buzz. Warplanes of the Saudi-led alliance bombed 2 houses in Yemen, killing 20 people. The attack came a day after similar airstrikes killed 50 people, including 18 members of a family. The Gulf Arab announced ground forces are moving towards an advance against Houthi fighters who hold the capital Sana'a. Pope Francis was greeted by US President Barack Obama on his first visit to the United States. The Pope is bringing to Washington a message that its power and wealth should help serve humanity. He hopes the US will lift its long trade embargo on Cuba after the negotiations between the two nations. Presidents of the African nations reached Burkina Faso to negotiate the peaceful rollback of a coup by the Presidential Guard soldiers last week. The leaders were in a closed-door meeting to discuss a 12-point plan of Senegalese President Macky Sall that includes amnesty for coup leaders. New Zealand's parliament announced a new red peak flag design to be added as a fifth option to the 4 flags. Voters will rank designs in a referendum between the 20th of November and the 11th of December. The favourite will replace New Zealand's current flag in another referendum next March. Time now for all the sports action and sports speed. Two-time Grand Slam champion Stan Wawrinka will compete in the Chennai Open next year. The defending champion and world number 4 will look to claim a hat-trick of championship wins in his 8th visit to Chennai. The South Asia's only ATP event will be held from the 4th of January next year. Robert Lewandowski scored 5 goals in 9 minutes in Bayern Munich's 5-1 victory against Wolfsburg. Bayern were a goal down at half-time, but the Polish striker, who came on as a substitute, scored in quick succession to record the fastest 5 goals scored by one player in the Bundesliga history. Chelsea striker Diego Costa was suspended from 3 domestic matches after a game a charge of violent conduct was upheld by the Football Association. Costa was involved in an incident with Arsenal's Laura during Saturday's 2-0 win over Arsenal in the English Premier League. Chelsea has shown disappointment over the verdict. Well, that's all from us. Goodbye.